Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Here we are, Sof Shavua, Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Chayei Sarah. Hopefully some people out there have this chus to attend Shabbos Chayei Sarah in Chevron Shelanu. It's on a bucket list of things that I have not yet to be a part of, one day, Emirta Hashem. But we continue davening for Chalei Tzva Haganah Yisrael, Refuah Shalem L'chol Petzuei Yisrael, safe return of our hostages, and again dedicated in our learning every day. L'ili Nishmat, Seren Daniel Shemin Rav Doron V'Sheli Hashem Yakum Damo. Thank you so much for the feedback on our new topic. We got some very positive response, and here we go. We're going to keep going, and the next chapter is Goy She'eino Oved Avodah Zarah. So the question is going to come up. We mentioned yesterday that wine that is touched by a non-Jew shouldn't be used, especially if the Jew is an idol worshiper. But do we really have that today? So what are the practical ramifications of that today? So here we go. If the non-Jew is not worshiping idols, so there's no concern, we're not worried that they touched your wine and used it for libations for their gods. But the chashash, the fear, the concern about intermingling, that remains. And therefore Chazal, they prohibited the wine from drinking, not from benefit, but just from drinking. Kolomar, mitzad echad b'bnei hachumra hayaseira sheyesh b'yayin, shebekocho l'tashtesh es hamechitzos hanitzrachos l'shmiras hayichad ha'Yisraeli. So on the one hand, since wine has this chumrah, it has this very stringent side to it, and it has the ability to perhaps drag down the barriers that we need to observe and to safeguard our uniqueness as Jews, so therefore, hichmiru le'asar es hayayin b'maga'o. We prohibited, Chazal, the rabbis prohibited the wine even if it's just touched by a non-Jew. Umeidach, on the other hand, kivin she'eino oved avodah zarah, but since the non-Jews are not worshipping idols, it doesn't exist anymore really. Chazal didn't go so far as to say that you can't use the wine for anything, for any benefit. They just prohibited it from being drunk, that you cannot drink this wine. The first stringency of wine, that falls into place. Therefore, even touching the wine will make it prohibited. But the second prohibition, the second stringency of hana, of benefiting, again, that does not fall into place. So just to reiterate that nowadays when there's no avodah zarah, when the non-Jew touches the wine, this only prohibits us from drinking it and not anything else. Zehaklal, here's the rule. Din goy she'eino avodah avodah zarah kal b'darga achas migoy she'oved avodah zarah. A non-Jew that does not worship idols is on a lesser level or lower level, let's say lower level of prohibition, of stringency, than a non-Jew that does worship avodah zarah. Lefichach, therefore, kol ma she'aser ba'oved avodah zarah b'hana aser b'goy she'eino oved avodah zarah b'shasiyah. As far as a non-Jew that worships idols, where we would have the prohibition for hana, that's the same thing for a non-Jew that does not worship avodah zarah as far as drinking goes. V'chol she'aser ba'oved avodah zarah b'shtiyah belvad mutter b'goy she'eino oved avodah zarah. And if there is something that an idol worshiper regarding our wine that would only prohibit us from drinking, then if it's a non-idol worshiper, that would mean that it doesn't even prohibit us from drinking. We're going to see exactly what this means. There's a very, very detailed note here, according to the Gaonim and different opinions. We're actually going to see it in the next chapter about what about people who are from Christians, Islam, or Hindu. We're going to see some of that as we go forward, Mitzvah Hashem, next week. Let's just finish out this perek, Kafisha Nilmad Bahalacha Haba, as we're going to see in the coming chapter, Kayom, Dino Shel Goy She'eino Oved Avodah Zarah Shchiach Yoser. Nowadays, the laws of a non-Jew that does not worship idols, that's more prevalent. Ulam B'derech Limudeinu Na'asok B'ikar B'din Ovdei Avodah Zarah. He says, but in the main essence of what we're going to learn here, we're going to learn about a non-Jew that does worship avodah zarah. Why? Because when we learn the halacha and it comes from the Mishnah and the Gemara, that's what the Mishnah and Gemara we're talking about. And as a result of learning the Ikar Halacha, which deals with a non-Jew that does worship idols, we'll be able to derive and understand the practical application. So I know it sounds a bit technical, and perhaps we have a bit of a cliffhanger over Shabbos until next week. Till we get next week, we have, just to give you a little bit of heads up on the schedule, American holiday here next week, Thanksgiving. And we'll try and learn as much as we can next week, hopefully at least 3 days, because I'll be traveling to Israel, Mirza Hashem, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to pre-record. If I can, I can. If not, not. But in the meantime, hope everybody has a peaceful and restful Shabbos. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Yisrael, for Shalom Chol Petzuei Yisrael, safe return of our hostages, learning Leila Nishmat, Saren Daniel Shemon Rav Drom Sheli Shem Kem Damo. Thank you so much for listening this week. Restock, regain our strength. We'll see you here next week, Mirza Hashem. Shabbat Shalom Avarach.